The first thing you see is a pair of gloved hands tightening a bolt onto a gleaming aluminum engine block. The motion is precise, almost surgical. The technician pauses for a moment, checks a digital torque wrench display, then carefully moves to the next component. Around him, the workshop is spotless, quiet, and controlled, far from the chaotic imagery most people associate with factory assembly lines. There are no loud conveyor belts rushing engines past workers, no teams of people attaching random parts in a hurry. Instead, one technician stands beside a single engine, methodically building it piece by piece. Hours later, when the engine is finally complete, a small metal plaque is attached to the top of the engine cover. Etched into that plaque is the technician's name and signature. This is the philosophy that defines Mercedes-AMG. One man, one engine. At AMG, every engine is assembled from start to finish by a single technician who takes complete responsibility for every component, every bolt, and every detail. And if that technician goes on vacation or becomes unavailable before the engine is finished, the engine doesn't move forward in production. It simply waits, sometimes up to 14 days, until the builder returns to complete it. This philosophy is not a marketing slogan or a modern branding strategy designed to impress luxury car buyers. It is a tradition that traces its roots back to the origins of AMG itself. The company began in 1967 when two former Mercedes engineers, Hans-Werner Aufrecht and Erhard Meller, started modifying Mercedes engines for racing performance. Working out of a small workshop in Bergstall, Germany, they focused on extracting more power and reliability from Mercedes powertrains than the factory versions originally offered. Their dedication to performance quickly gained attention, especially after the famous 1971 Spa-Francorchamps 24-hour race, where a heavily modified AMG-tuned Mercedes sedan shocked the motorsport world by finishing second overall. From that moment forward, AMG became synonymous with engineering passion and handcrafted performance. When Mercedes-Benz eventually acquired a controlling stake in AMG decades later, the brand's philosophy remained intact. Performance engines should still be built with the same individual craftsmanship that defined the company's early days. Today, the spiritual home of that philosophy lies in the quiet town of Affalterbach, located northeast of Stuttgart in southern Germany. The rolling hills and vineyards surrounding the region hardly suggest the birthplace of some of the world's most powerful road-legal engines, yet inside the AMG Performance Center, engineering excellence operates at a level that feels almost clinical. The facility is far more controlled than most automotive factories. Temperature, humidity, and cleanliness are carefully managed because even microscopic dust particles could interfere with the precise tolerances required in modern performance engines. Engineers and technicians move deliberately between workstations, each responsible for building an engine entirely on their own. The environment feels closer to a laboratory than a traditional factory floor. Inside the original AMG V8 assembly hall, the process still reflects traditional mechanical craftsmanship. Each technician works beside a wheeled engine stand holding a partially assembled V8 block. Unlike modern high-volume assembly lines, there is no continuous conveyor carrying engines through dozens of stations. Instead, the builder physically pushes the engine stand around the workshop as the build progresses. Along the walls and between work areas sit large parts bins filled with pistons, camshafts, crankshafts, turbochargers, and other components. Overhead cables hang from the ceiling to power torque tools and specialized equipment. The technician navigates through the room, selecting the exact components needed for each stage of assembly and installing them one by one. The process requires intense focus because each engine must meet extremely tight tolerances. Any mistake would not only compromise performance, but also violate the philosophy of personal accountability that AMG takes seriously. Watching the V8 assembly process unfold reveals just how complex modern performance engines have become. The builder begins with the bare aluminum engine block, installing the forged crankshaft that forms the rotating heart of the engine. Precision balanced pistons and connecting rods follow, carefully fitted to ensure perfect alignment and smooth operation at high speeds. The camshafts that control the opening and closing of valves are installed with incredible accuracy because even slight misalignment can affect combustion efficiency. Each bolt must be tightened to a precise torque value, verified by digital tools that record the measurements. Throughout the process, sensors and inspection systems continuously check tolerances to ensure every component meets AMG's standards. While the traditional V8 line celebrates craftsmanship in a classic mechanical sense, AMG's newest generation of engines demonstrates how that philosophy evolves alongside cutting-edge technology. The most advanced example is the M139 engine, a 2-liter 4-cylinder power plant that holds the title of the world's most powerful production 4-cylinder engine. Producing up to 421 horsepower in certain AMG models, the engine achieves an astonishing output of 211 horsepower per liter. For comparison, many high-performance supercars struggle to reach similar power density levels with engines twice the size. Achieving such extreme performance requires not only innovative engineering, but also a manufacturing process capable of delivering extraordinary precision. The production line for the M139 engine represents a dramatic shift from the traditional V8 assembly hall. Instead of overhead cables and parts bins scattered throughout the workspace, the M139 assembly area resembles a semiconductor manufacturing facility. The environment is brightly lit, immaculately clean, and highly organized. Engineers describe it as a clean room style environment because even small contaminants must be minimized. The layout of the workspace reflects a completely new approach to manufacturing efficiency and ergonomics. At the center of this process is a wireless trolley system. Each engine sits on a motorized trolley that moves quietly through the assembly space. The technician assigned to build the engine works alongside it from start to finish. Instead of walking across the workshop to gather components, the builder receives a specially prepared parts cart containing every component needed for that specific engine. This cart is often referred to internally as a shopping cart, but it represents a sophisticated logistics system designed to eliminate confusion and reduce assembly errors. Every part required for the engine build is pre-selected, verified, and organized before the technician begins. The wireless tools used in the M139 assembly process further highlight the modern approach to precision manufacturing. Instead of being connected to overhead cables, torque tools operate wirelessly and communicate directly with a central monitoring system. Each time a bolt is tightened, the torque value is automatically recorded and stored in the engine's digital build history. This data ensures that every engine leaving the factory meets AMG's strict engineering standards. If a torque reading falls outside the acceptable range, the system immediately alerts the technician and prevents the assembly process from continuing until the issue is corrected. One of the most interesting technical features of the M139 engine is its unusual orientation within the vehicle. Unlike many traditional engines, the M139 is rotated 180 degrees so that the intake system sits toward the front of the vehicle while the exhaust and turbocharger are positioned closer to the firewall. This configuration improves airflow efficiency and allows the turbocharger to operate with shorter exhaust paths, increasing responsiveness. The engine also uses a twin-scroll turbocharger combined with two-stage fuel injection, which includes both direct injection and additional intake port injectors. This advanced system helps achieve extremely precise combustion control, maximizing power while maintaining reliability. After the engine is fully assembled, tested, and approved, the technician completes the most symbolic step in the entire process. A small metal plaque is engraved with the technician's name and signature. This plaque is then attached to the engine, permanently linking the builder to that specific machine. For AMG technicians, this moment represents both pride and responsibility. If the engine performs flawlessly for years, the builder's name is part of that success. If any issues occur, the engine can be traced back to the person who assembled it. This level of accountability reinforces the brand's commitment to craftsmanship in an era dominated by automated mass production. Once the engine leaves Affalterbach, its journey continues to another important facility, the Mercedes-Benz plant in Bremen. Here the engine will eventually be installed into the vehicle it was designed to power. But before that happens, the car's body must first be constructed. The Bremen factory specializes in body assembly, where large aluminum panels are shaped, welded, and assembled into the final vehicle structure. Unlike the hand-built engine process at AMG, the body assembly stage relies heavily on advanced robotics. Massive robotic arms move with surprising speed and precision, welding panels together using high-intensity laser beams. These lasers create extremely strong and precise welds, ensuring that the vehicle's structure remains rigid even under extreme performance conditions. The robots move in synchronized patterns, performing hundreds of welds within seconds. Once the body shell is complete, it moves through additional stages where components such as suspension mounts, structural reinforcements, and protective coatings are added. Eventually, the partially assembled vehicle reaches the stage where the drivetrain will be installed. The moment when the engine meets the vehicle is often referred to as the marriage stage in automotive manufacturing. At Bremen, this process involves carefully aligning the handcrafted AMG engine with the vehicle's transmission and chassis. A specialized mechanical gripper lifts the engine and transmission assembly and positions it precisely beneath the car body. In a carefully choreographed movement, the body of the car is lowered onto the drivetrain while technicians monitor alignment and connections. Within minutes, the engine that was hand-assembled in Affalterbach becomes the beating heart of a completed performance vehicle. What makes the AMG philosophy so remarkable is how it blends traditional craftsmanship with modern engineering. In an industry increasingly defined by automation, efficiency, and mass production, AMG continues to emphasize individual responsibility and pride in workmanship. The idea that a single technician builds an entire engine might seem inefficient compared to conventional assembly lines, yet it creates a unique connection between the builder and the machine. Each engine represents hours of focused effort by a single individual who understands every component inside it. For enthusiasts and customers, that connection adds emotional value to the vehicle. Knowing that the engine powering their car was assembled entirely by one technician creates a sense of authenticity that few manufacturers can replicate. The small plaque bearing the builder's signature serves as a reminder that behind the advanced engineering and powerful performance lies human craftsmanship. It transforms the engine from a mass-produced mechanical object into something closer to a work of mechanical art. As automotive technology continues evolving toward electrification and new forms of propulsion, the future of hand-built combustion engines remains uncertain. Yet for now, the one-man, one-engine philosophy remains one of the defining characteristics of Mercedes-AMG. In the quiet halls of the Affalterbach factory, technicians continue assembling engines one bolt at a time, signing their names to machines capable of producing extraordinary power. Each finished engine carries not only horsepower and engineering precision, but also the pride of the person who built it, a tradition that keeps the spirit of AMG alive in every performance car that leaves the factory. To fully appreciate the significance of the one-man, one-engine philosophy, it helps to understand how dramatically different it is from the way most car engines are produced around the world. In a typical automotive factory, engines move down a conveyor line where dozens of workers or robotic stations each perform a small, specialized task. One station installs pistons, another attaches the cylinder head, another adds sensors or wiring harnesses. By the time the engine reaches the end of the line, hundreds of individual steps have been completed by many different workers and machines. This approach is extremely efficient and allows manufacturers to produce thousands of engines per day. However, it also means that no single person is responsible for the entire engine. If a problem occurs later, identifying the exact source of the issue can be difficult because so many hands were involved in the process. AMG intentionally rejects that model. Instead of dividing the work into dozens of small steps handled by multiple workers, the company assigns each engine to a single master technician. This technician performs every critical step of the assembly process, from installing the crankshaft to mounting the turbochargers and performing the final inspection. Because the same person handles every stage, they develop a deep familiarity with the engine they are building. They know exactly how each component fits together, how the tolerances feel during assembly, and whether something seems slightly off even before measurements confirm it. This human intuition is something that even the most advanced automated systems struggle to replicate. The technicians who build AMG engines are not ordinary factory workers. They undergo extensive training before being allowed to assemble engines independently. Many have backgrounds in mechanical engineering, automotive technology, or precision manufacturing. During their training period, they learn not only the technical aspects of engine assembly, but also the philosophy behind AMG's craftsmanship standards. Precision, patience, and attention to detail are emphasized constantly. Every bolt, every gasket, every rotating component must meet exact specifications. The technicians also learn how to use specialized digital tools that measure torque, alignment, and pressure with extreme accuracy. One of the most critical stages in building any high-performance engine is balancing the rotating assembly. The crankshaft, pistons, and connecting rods must rotate at extremely high speeds, often exceeding 7,000 revolutions per minute in modern AMG engines. At those speeds, even tiny imbalances can cause vibrations that reduce performance or lead to long-term wear. To prevent this, each component is measured and balanced before installation. The technician carefully installs the crankshaft and then checks the rotational movement to ensure it spins smoothly without resistance. This process requires both precise instruments and a trained sense of touch developed through years of experience. Another stage that demands exceptional precision is the installation of the cylinder head and valve train. The cylinder head houses the valves that control airflow into and out of the combustion chamber. These valves must open and close at exactly the right moments, coordinated perfectly with the movement of the pistons. The camshafts that control this timing are installed with incredible care, and the technician verifies alignment using digital gauges. Even a slight deviation could affect engine efficiency or power output. After installation, the torque of the cylinder head bolts is tightened in a specific sequence designed to distribute pressure evenly across the engine block. The turbocharger system is another defining feature of modern AMG engines. Turbochargers work by using exhaust gases to spin a turbine that forces additional air into the combustion chamber. This allows the engine to burn more fuel and produce significantly more power without increasing engine size. In the M139 engine, the twin-scroll turbocharger plays a crucial role in delivering its remarkable performance. The technician installing the turbocharger must ensure that all connections are perfectly sealed, because even a small air leak could reduce efficiency or cause performance issues. The intake and exhaust pathways are carefully inspected to guarantee smooth airflow and optimal pressure levels. Fuel delivery systems in modern AMG engines have also become incredibly sophisticated. The two-stage fuel injection system used in the M139 engine combines direct injection and port injection. Direct injection sprays fuel directly into the combustion chamber under extremely high pressure, allowing precise control of the fuel-air mixture. Port injection, on the other hand, sprays fuel into the intake ports before it enters the chamber. By using both systems together, engineers can optimize combustion under different operating conditions, improving both performance and efficiency. Installing and calibrating these systems requires meticulous attention because the injectors must operate within extremely tight tolerances. Once the major mechanical components are assembled, the technician installs a network of sensors and electronic systems that monitor the engine's performance. Modern performance engines rely heavily on data. Sensors measure everything from air temperature and pressure to crankshaft position and exhaust composition. These signals are processed by the engine control unit, which constantly adjusts fuel delivery, ignition timing, and turbocharger boost levels to maximize power while maintaining reliability. Each sensor must be correctly installed and connected because inaccurate readings could lead to performance issues or warning lights once the engine is installed in a vehicle. After the assembly process is complete, the engine undergoes a rigorous inspection procedure. The technician reviews all torque readings recorded during assembly to confirm that every fastener was tightened within the specified range. Visual inspections ensure that hoses, wiring connections, and mounting points are properly secured. The engine is then prepared for testing, where specialized equipment verifies that internal systems operate correctly. This stage helps identify any potential issues before the engine leaves the factory. Despite the advanced testing equipment available, AMG still places enormous trust in the skill and judgment of the technician who built the engine. Because the builder was responsible for every step of the process, they often have a strong sense of whether the engine will perform exactly as intended. This personal accountability is one of the reasons the signature plaque carries such symbolic weight. It represents more than just authorship. It reflects the builder's confidence in their craftsmanship. Visitors to the Affalterbach facility often describe the atmosphere as unusually calm for a high-performance manufacturing environment. Instead of the loud mechanical rhythm of conveyor belts and automated machinery, there is a quieter rhythm of focused human activity. Technicians move carefully around their workstations, consulting digital displays and selecting components from organized parts carts. The environment encourages concentration rather than speed. While efficiency is still important, the emphasis is on building each engine correctly rather than simply building it quickly. The pride that technicians feel in their work is evident during conversations with AMG staff. Many builders describe their engines almost as personal creations rather than factory products. Some technicians even keep records of the vehicles their engines end up powering, occasionally seeing them years later at car events or in automotive magazines. Knowing that a car capable of extraordinary performance is powered by something they assembled with their own hands creates a strong sense of accomplishment. AMG customers often develop a similar appreciation for this craftsmanship. Owners sometimes look up the name on their engine's plaque and learn about the technician who built it. This connection between builder and driver adds a unique human dimension to the ownership experience. In an industry increasingly dominated by automation and digital technology, the knowledge that a single person assembled the engine gives the vehicle a sense of individuality. The contrast between the AMG assembly process and conventional automotive production highlights an important philosophical difference. Most car manufacturers focus on scalability and efficiency, aiming to produce as many vehicles as possible with consistent quality. AMG, while still part of a global automotive corporation, preserves a small-scale craftsmanship approach within that larger system. The engines are built in relatively limited numbers compared to standard production engines, allowing the company to maintain its tradition of individual assembly. As the automotive world moves toward electrification, the future of handcrafted combustion engines raises interesting questions. Electric vehicles rely on electric motors and battery systems that require very different manufacturing processes. These systems often involve advanced robotics and automated assembly rather than manual craftsmanship. While AMG is actively developing high-performance electric vehicles, the company continues to celebrate its heritage through engines like the M139 and its iconic V8 power plants. For many enthusiasts, the sound and character of an AMG engine are as important as the performance figures. The deep rumble of an AMG V8 or the aggressive turbocharged roar of a performance four-cylinder creates an emotional experience that connects driver and machine. That experience is rooted not only in engineering, but also in the human effort behind the engine's creation. Each firing cylinder and each surge of acceleration reflects the careful assembly performed by a skilled technician in Affalterbach. The journey of an AMG engine, from a collection of individual components to a fully assembled power plant installed in a performance car, represents a remarkable blend of precision engineering and human craftsmanship. Every step of the process reinforces the philosophy that performance is not just about horsepower or torque numbers. It is about dedication to detail, pride in workmanship, and respect for the mechanical art of engine building. Over time, that small plaque becomes more than just a badge of authorship. For many AMG owners, it becomes a symbol of connection to the heritage and philosophy behind the vehicle they drive. When enthusiasts open the hood of their car and see the engraved name on the engine cover, they are reminded that this machine was not assembled by a faceless production system, but by a real person who invested hours of focus and precision into its creation. In a world where most products are manufactured anonymously, that human signature carries emotional weight. It transforms the engine from a purely mechanical component into something closer to a crafted instrument, built with care and intention. This tradition also creates a culture of pride within the AMG workforce itself. Technicians understand that their work will travel across the world inside vehicles capable of extraordinary performance. Every engine they build might power a car accelerating down a racetrack, cruising along the Autobahn at high speed, or becoming the centerpiece of a passionate owner's garage collection. That knowledge encourages a mindset where quality and craftsmanship take priority over speed or convenience. The philosophy reinforces the idea that engineering excellence is not just about advanced technology, but also about the people who bring that technology together. As automotive engineering continues to evolve, the future may introduce new types of propulsion and new methods of manufacturing. Yet the spirit behind AMG's one man, one engine philosophy remains a powerful reminder of what made the brand legendary in the first place. It celebrates the belief that even in an age of robotics and digital automation, there is still something extraordinary about a machine carefully built by human hands, one bolt at a time. In the end, the small plaque bearing the builder's name may be one of the most meaningful details on an AMG vehicle. It serves as a quiet reminder that behind the advanced technology and breathtaking performance lies a tradition of craftsmanship that few manufacturers still practice. Long after the engine leaves the factory and finds its home beneath the hood of a high-performance car, that signature remains, a permanent mark of the individual who brought the engine to life.